And joining us now here in studio, Shanna Allen, former Crown Ward and an organizer for the Youth Leaving Care hearings. And it's really good to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I want you to tell us as much as you're comfortable telling us about why you're involved in this issue. And I don't want to invade your privacy because it's your story.
Yeah.
But you are kind of helping organize these hearings, which are designed to shed a lot of light on what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you end up a Crown Ward?
So I went into care when I was about 8 years old, and my mother had a mental illness, and I went into care, and it was just temporary. It wasn't, we didn't think it was going to be for a long time.
Where was your dad?
My mom moved from the States to our parents separated.
So your dad was not here?
Yeah, not.
So single mother?
Yep.
And she just couldn't
couldn't
deal with it.
Exactly. So she had a mental illness, and then we went into care, and unfortunately my mother committed suicide, and that was when it was more permanent.
And how old were you at the time?
When my mother committed suicide, I was 9.
You're 9, and basically you have no parents now.
Yeah.
So what happens to you?
So that's when I went into care. I went into foster care, and it was permanent.
And foster care means what?
So it means, a parent, a temporary parent, a parent that's there for you, but is not your real parent.
Right. So essentially you move from home to home to home? Is that the idea? For as long as they'll keep you?
Yeah, for the most part. Luckily, I was well off. I stayed in mostly around one home, but I did go to a couple of other homes.
For how much time?
I've been there until I was 18.
Till you're 18. And you're now how old?
I'm 20.
You're 20 now. So basically for most of the life that you can remember, you haven't had your birth parents, and you've been living with foster parents. Mm-hmm. How has that been?
Definitely a challenge. There was a lot of times I felt alone, and it's just odd when you don't have your own parents, and it doesn't feel real, I guess. It doesn't feel like you have a real family or someone that can relate to you on the sense of where a family could.
You feel like you're visiting in some respects?
I definitely feel like a visitor, for sure.
And I mean, were there any efforts undertaken to find out what happened to your dad, or whether he was available to be a parent for you?
Yeah, that's ironic that you ask. I actually found him in February. He's living in the States. And
February as in this year?
Yeah, February. It's been a crazy year.
Wow, okay. So, but he was completely out of your life before this?
Yes.
Didn't know where he was, even if he was alive?
No, I didn't actually know if he was alive.
And is he in your life now that you know where he is?
Not really, I would say no. I met him, and it was kind of an awkward situation. It's weird when someone just comes into your life and they don't know you. So
and yet
it's
he's
unfortunate.
responsible for your birth.
Exactly.
Odd. What happened when you turned 18?
So when I turned 18, that was officially when I was out of care. And when I turned 18, I was in school. I am still in school. I went away like most other children, but I didn't have the support that most children have. I didn't have my parents, per se.
So let's make sure we understand this. You turn 18, the province suddenly no longer becomes your parent, right? As it kind of was before.
I'm no longer in a foster home.
You're not in a foster home anymore. You're expected, essentially, to be on your own?
Yes.
Could you stay with the family that had been providing foster care?
Yeah, luckily, I still keep in contact, but I do live on my own at school.
Now you live on your own. Mm-hmm. Now then you're, of course, in high school, I guess, right?
Yes.
You're going to school where now?
I go to school at University of Wilfrid Laurier in Brantford.
Fantastic. So you're in a very nice post-secondary institution, studying what?
I'm in the concurrent education program to be a teacher.
Okay, great. How are you paying for your education?
Well, thankfully, OSAP is helping out, but the government does provide a little bit of funding.
But that presumably only happens because you're
going to school.
In school.
And unfortunately, not all Crown Wards do make it to school. The success rate, 44% are usually the ones that graduate high school, compared to 81% of the general population. So
when you turn 18, is the sense of it that basically the province, washes its hands of you? Is that how it happens?
Essentially, I guess, yeah. Like, you don't have that home to go to.
How about a social worker to go to?
I do have that when I'm 18, but when you're 21, that's for the other people who don't go to school. Sorry, for those who go to school, they get the support till 21. But
so
then
that's
at 21, yeah.
But at 21,
that's when they wash their hands completely.
That's the next cutoff. And you turn 21 when?
In May.
In May. So you've got half a year left, and then I guess that's probably, is that
Yeah, it's scary. It's definitely scary.
Yeah.
I'm smiling, but it is really scary to think of. It's scary to think that I won't have my worker to call in those times where you're stressed. Like even simple things like if your car breaks down and you need to ask someone, like who do I call? What do I do? Simple things like that.
What is it that kind of makes you the most nervous about hitting 21? 21's an age, I got to tell you, that most young people, yeah, they're very excited about turning 21.
I guess the thing that I'm most scared about turning 21 is definitely just the sense of feeling alone, like you don't have that person to call or you don't have that person to rely on. And the support, like financial support, is cut off. So it's going to be more challenging than it already is to pursue my dreams of being a teacher and to further, after all the traumatic experiences that I've gone through, to continue to keep pushing forward. I mean, it's scary to think of that day.
So are you planning for it right now?
I try not to think about it.
Now, Shanna, is that a good idea?
No. I mean, obviously I think about it, but it's definitely something that I keep at the back of my mind because I just want to keep pushing forward.
Do you think about what that first job is going to be after you graduate from school?
Yeah, well, I hope it's a teaching job. I mean, I have dreams that I want to pursue. Like, I do hope to teach overseas, and I do hope to continue with the career that I'm on, but I'm still going to be in school until I'm 23.
And how much debt will you be carrying by the time you graduate?
A lot.
20,000?
Yeah.
$20,000? Mm-hmm. Get a good job, Shanna.
Yeah,
You'll pay it back, no problem. Tell me about the Youth Leaving Care hearings that you are one of the organizers of right now. What's that about?
So the Youth Leaving Care hearings were on November 18th and November 25th, the last 2 Fridays. And there were youth-led hearings at Queen's Park, something that's never been done before. There was youth in and from care that were volunteering with us, that were speaking, sharing their experiences, their recommendations on what things that they think that need to be changed.
Sharing these feelings to whom?
To the province. There was MPPs listening, political leaders listening, people that can make changes. They were sitting in the audiences, sitting around the table, listening. It was almost like a standing committee.
And did they question you as well?
I didn't speak because I feel like I've been behind the scenes, and as well as I've been speaking to people about my experiences. So I didn't speak. I actually have been helping put together the hearings.
Gotcha. And give us kind of like the key messages that come out of this hearing, that you've got all these decision makers in the room. What is it that you really wanted to hammer home to them?
So I think what most people were sharing is that there's a lack of support, and a lack of support in that transitioning age from age 16 to 21. And going from having support to having no support is a real challenge. So that was the main thing that was focused on. But there's 8,300 Crown wards. There's all of those voices that we're hoping to still hear from, because we're still opening the submissions till January 3rd.
Can you tell if the message got through?
I would say for the most part the message is, I'm just really happy that awareness is coming from this and people are listening, and there were such inspiring stories and people were enlightened on the things that they never knew about. So I'm really thankful, and I'm happy to have been a part of it and still being a part of it, writing the report.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've known you here for what, 15 minutes, so this is a really snap judgment, admittedly, but you really seem like you've got your act together. And my hunch is, of all the former Crown wards in this province, more than 8,000, they're not like you.
No.
My hunch is that a lot of them have got a lot of problems still. Is that right?
Yeah, I always say this to people, that like everything seems okay on the surface, but there's been, as you mentioned, homeless runs along the Crown wards. People live in shelters. People are having challenges just getting food. There's mental health issues. There's challenges with special needs. There is a lot of challenges, and I'm thankful that I do go through some of those challenges, but yeah, there's definitely the 8,300 Crown wards. They are going through challenges.
Like, do you ever sit back and think to yourself, I lost my mother when I was 9, I don't know my dad at all, how the hell am I even still alive?
I try to stay positive, I do. Like, I'm not one to look in the past and say, my life sucks, because I don't think that will get you anywhere. I think the best thing that you can do is just try to inspire people to keep pushing forward. And I think that's why it's important that we did these hearings, because then people were able to share their stories and say, like, I've been through all this, but we're not stopping.
Shanna, sit tight for a minute or so. We're going to invite some others to join us for more of the discussion, but I'm really grateful you came in tonight to help us set the table for the discussion to come.